This is Gary Atencio with CNTV, and today we are in Canada. I'm here with Ventripoint. Since 2005, they've been dedicated to improving diagnostic imaging by developing tools like VMS Plus that transforms ultrasounds into scans of the heart with MRI accuracy. I'm joined here with the President, CEO. Thanks so much for joining us here, Hugh.
Pleasure to join you, Gary.
Let's start off a little bit about yourself. And you're a Fortune 100 trained executive with 30 years experience in innovation, development, financing, and commercialization of medical and life science technologies. Why don't you share with us, first of all, how your passion for this type of work began for you 3 decades ago?
Well, definitely have always been interested in being involved with doing things that benefit mankind. Very interested in medicine and science and the applications of this to improve people's lives through diagnostics, through better drugs, and also through devices. So spent a number of years getting a very good grounding with multinational companies. I've always been somewhat of an entrepreneur, so moved into venture capital and then working with early stage companies, working with very promising but relatively young technologies and turning those into products and making them available to the wider community.
You are able to understand quite a few points out there because you've worked in so many areas. I mean, the heart truly is the heart of our health. I mean, probably not all of us have held the hand of someone who has suffered from congenital heart disease. Yet it was the hands of many children that really inspired your founder to find a better way. Can you kind of touch on that story for us, if you would?
Well, absolutely. The genesis of this company and the technology was at the University of Washington. A cardiologist there really desired a better way to manage these congenital heart defect patients. The gold standard for diagnosing and monitoring these patients or heart defect patients in general is magnetic resonance imaging, or MRI.
Yeah.
However, it's not really recommended for patients under the age of 12 years old for a number of reasons. These include, items such as needing to be motionless during a long procedure. So challenging for most of us, and especially for a child. It's a very confining environment. It is claustrophobic and very noisy once you're in that tube. These patients may require injections of contrast or sedation. So obviously not so desirable. And finally, can't be accompanied by parents in most cases. So they're there on their own. And, that's a fairly traumatic experience. MRI is a very expensive, time-consuming, and...
Yeah, I mean, it's amazing. It's amazing because you're talking about these children not enjoying that process. My wife thinks I'm a child when it comes to that type of thing. I mean, your company really is a concept that was born out of a need. The need to offer a patient better care without relying on the highly restrictive MRI. I mean, not only restrictive, like I say, for kids, but even restrictive for adults. I mean, people have claustrophobia, people get nervous. I know for myself, I've gone through it once before, and it was not an experience that I enjoyed at all.
Yeah, many patients don't enjoy this. And in fact, some of our clinical users are reporting that nearly half of their patients don't comply with follow-up procedures on MRI just because of the unpleasantness of the experience. So I think we also speak to that need. Ultrasound is everywhere. There's tens of thousands of systems out there. It can be done at the patient bedside, so it's faster, it's less expensive, far more accessible.
Yeah, that's exciting. I mean, this is not only for the patient, but also the need to provide doctors with complete and full information that they need to monitor a heart and therefore make a confident diagnosis. Is accuracy vital, obviously, when determining treatment?
Accuracy is really important, and especially for a number of the patient types that we're looking at. So whether those are congenital heart defect patients or cancer patients or people with pulmonary hypertension, some of these measurements are absolutely critical, and being able to deliver them in a timely fashion is essential.
I mean, the flagship for your company is VMS Plus. I mean, this cardiac imaging transforms 2D echocardiograms into precise 3D heart models. I mean, this is groundbreaking, is it not? I mean, that got to be pretty exciting to offer this out there for folks.
Very exciting, and to our knowledge, we're the only company that is able to provide a product with MRI levels of accuracy, particularly for the right ventricle, which is very tricky to assess.
Like you say, it's not only highly accurate, but it is accomplished in minutes. And in an industry where life-saving minutes count, is this revolutionizing cardiac care, would you say? And is AI at the heart of this, being able to compute all that data in a rather short period of time?
Yeah, so in fact, we have one customer site where they're imaging 20,000 patients per year. The patient is in the room being imaged within 5 minutes of presenting. Uh, Before they leave the suite, the cardiologist has actually reviewed the image, and the study is able to make recommendations regarding treatment and follow-up. And the patient has all the necessary information and directions by the time they're walking out the door.
The faster we can get these folks getting treatment, obviously more lives are saved in that way. I mean, this is a proprietary algorithm that you folks created and you use. What is knowledge-based reconstruction, or KBR, what you say?
Yeah, so we call it AI. It's actually a form of machine learning. What this is based on is a proprietary data set of very carefully curated MRI images. So we have thousands of MRI images in a static database. So this isn't generative AI like ChatGPT. This is a proprietary database. And on top of that, we have developed proprietary algorithms that compare the ultrasound study to this library or catalog of MRI images. So this approach is really what we term knowledge-based reconstruction. So the knowledge base is a curated data set, and then the reconstruction occurs through the proprietary algorithms.
I mean, this miraculous machine that each one of us has inside our heart, I mean, it's complex. Can VMS Plus provide insights into the heart's structure and function for all conditions? Can you kind of explain examples of what it can actually help with?
Yes, it's applicable to many conditions, so we're not restricted in that sense. The areas we focused on are congenital heart defects, so 13 million patients globally, not just children, but these patients survive well into adulthood and need ongoing monitoring and assessment. Also, as we follow them through their life, their life cycle, if you could call it that. Many of these patients go on to become pregnant and need more careful monitoring during this very stressful period. So VMS is very well suited for that. Cancer patients, so a number of cancer patients are receiving drugs that are toxic to the heart. So 50 million of them every year globally. So these patients need to be carefully monitored during their treatment and afterwards. Pulmonary hypertension, this is a significant indication, over 80 million people globally. Also correlates with aging, and we do have aging populations, so it's just a tsunami of people who need to be more carefully assessed as they age in life. Finally, we're looking at heart valve procedures. So, a good number of people are requiring heart valve procedures, and rather than subject them to anesthesia or sort of invasive methods of assessing their heart structure, we feel we can do this through the chest wall using VMS. And then finally, patients with implants such as cardiac pacemakers. So 3 million people in America with cardiac pacemakers. They can't be imaged using MRI. We can do it with VMS Plus.
A wide array of people this is really affecting. I mean, the software, AI, the technology within are really executing some remarkable feats. But what is the hardware process to set this up on the facility's existing infrastructure? I mean, does it attach to the ultrasound? Can you kind of explain that a little bit for us?
We have two versions of product. So one is uses a medical grade tablet that is just connected to the ultrasound machine. So we can be integrated with any commonly available ultrasound machine, whether it's from a company such as GE or Siemens or Philips. There's tens of thousands of these out there. We're compatible with all of them. The other solution is a workstation for the cardiologist. So that can be installed onto any PC.
Okay, so you got two different versions out there that people are able to choose from. I mean, for the end user, it's as easy as 1, 2, 3. Acquire images, place points, generate results. What has been some of the feedback from these major hospitals, not only here in the United States, but from use in Europe and the UK, and obviously where you're at there in Canada? I mean, are we talking about white papers that are coming out with some remarkable stats?
Yeah, there's been enthusiastic support for this. We have over 60 publications, describing many of the indications that I just mentioned. In fact, we just released one yesterday, a new white paper just on the automation features included in our newest version of VMS, version 4. So speaking to the accuracy of that, and yeah, we believe that these white papers are just sort of substantiating the user experience and their trust and confidence in the system.
And outside of the white papers, on the human side, what do these doctors have to say? I mean, they have to love the ease of this and also the data it provides.
Absolutely. Well, it's much more accessible. I think it fits better into their clinical workflow, and it enables them to make informed decisions for treatment of their patients with fewer visits.
How do those folks out there in the industry that you serve get started with your technology? How do they reach you? And what about those who want to invest in your technology? Is that something that's a possibility as well?
Yes. So in terms of first of all, let's look at users. So we employ a sort of a blended model. So in Europe and the UK, we work through distributors. In North America, through direct sales. So they can reach out to the company directly through our website, www.ventripoint.com. As well, I think the clinical community is somewhat familiar with us. So we do have a network that we're accessible through, or even through LinkedIn, for example. In terms of investment, yes, we're certainly very open to increasing our pool of investors, and we will shortly be embarking on another round of finance.
Hugh, your company develops tools that offer higher performance, lower cost, faster turnaround times, and really just a greater patient comfort. Is this rewarding work for you and your team?
Absolutely. I think everybody is here because of their care for patients and desire to benefit mankind. And it's also a case of doing well by doing good. So the doing good part of it is definitely, I think, top of mind for everyone. And we see an opportunity really to transform care for cardiac patients. And, it's important to remember, too, that cardiac disease is a leading cause of death worldwide. So the team is really on a mission here.
That is exciting. And I'm definitely honored to introduce this exciting technology to my viewers out there. Viewers, let's take a look at the bottom of the screen right there. What you're going to see is the website. On the website, you can learn more about their flagship product and see what is on the horizon when it comes to heart care. I mean, this really is the next evolution of whole heart imaging. Once again, that is Ventripoint. We put the heart into AI. This is Atencio with CNTV. And if you don't know, now you know.